Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Pisces. That's Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising for the month of March 2024. Of course, March is a heavy Pisces month because the Sun moves into Pisces, or actually, the Sun is in Pisces as March begins. We also have Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. Those are more long-term Pisces placements. Neptune's been there since 2011. And Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces, so it's powerful in Pisces. It's powerful in Pisces. And Saturn moved into Pisces beginning of last year. I think it was March of 2023, and has moved through about the first 8 degrees of Pisces, going all the way up to about 8 degrees, and then all the way back to almost out of Pisces, but not quite 1 degree of Pisces, and now coming back through those, going direct through those degrees, and now moving into the middle degrees of Pisces, 10 to 20 this year. And so, and it will go back and forth as it did in the first 10 degrees. So this energy of Saturn in your sign, Pisces, really sort of brings us to a culmination. Now, it's not a complete culmination because we're not going to get through Pisces and we're not going to get into the next sign until 2026. So we still have some work to do with Saturn and Pisces, but the first 10 degrees has been eye-opening, and Pisces in the natural zodiac rules the 12th house, which is our karmic liabilities. And so as Saturn, the planet of karma, moves through the sign of our karmic liabilities, a lot of things from the past that we thought were put to rest come up for review, for a look. And Pisces, for you, this is all sort of happening right in your first house there, Pisces house. So you're really having to face quite a bit. And Pisces is the most collective sign, so you're not alone, Pisces. We're all facing this somewhere in our chart. So let's take a look and see the astrology to start, and then we'll do a card reading with an oracle pull. So let me share my screen here. All right, let me find what I'm sharing. All right, guess we'll start here. This, of course, is not Pisces, but let me bring you to Pisces. Oops, let's go this way. All right, and we'll make this a nice big picture. Okay, so we're in Pisces 2024, as you probably know, or maybe you don't, but now you will. Pisces is a mutable water sign. Its mantra is I believe. And you have two rulers. You have Jupiter as the classical ruler of Pisces, and you have Neptune as the more modern ruler of Pisces. Of course, as I said, Neptune is in Pisces, so that's pretty powerful. And Jupiter is in Taurus, which is a sign that uh, aligns with you. Water and earth are two elements that can work together. So this can be a very productive time with your rulers in those two signs, giving us a sense of, kind of what practical solutions need to happen in order to bring more compassion to the party, so to speak. Pisces does tend to walk through life with rose-colored glasses, seeing the best in everyone and the best perhaps in a situation. And when ugliness appears, Pisces tends to evade it, move away from it. And with Saturn and Pisces, we really all have to face quite a bit of the ugliness, and then find a way to move through it and heal it, and forgive, and let go, and let God, Goddess, all that is, right? That's the Pisces stuff. So if we look at the chart for the year, this is sort of a look at the year. we can see that we're in an 8 vibration year. The 2024 vibrates to an 8, which in the tarot is the strength card associated with the sign of Leo. So Leo becomes an important focus for Pisces, and Leo is your house of health. So this is a time when you really need to pay attention to your physical health. That might even be more true for Pisces moons because the moon deals with the body. So this is a time when you really need to focus on and take care of your health. And of course, you have Saturn in the first house, which is also an indication of health. So important issue for Pisces. So as we look at this March, we notice that there's a lot of energy in that first house, Pisces, and you also still have some energy in your 12th house, which is in your case Aquarius, where we have Pluto now, and we start the month with Mars and Venus in there as well. Mercury is not there. I don't know why I needed to, that needs to be X'd out. So it's Venus, Mars, and Pluto starting the month in that 12th house. And then we have the Sun and a Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune as we start the month in Pisces. So March 1st, the Sun makes a waning sextile to Jupiter. As I said, the Sun in Pisces, Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter being one of your ruling planets in that house of the mind for you. This is a way for you to sort of focus your mind on practical concerns, and an opportunity. The sextiles this month are, for the most part, except for 2 of them, last quarter, waning sextiles. Sextiles in their nature opens the lines of communication, and the waning ones have the overlay energy of Aquarius. So a lot of the realizations, communications, and movement are in a progressive direction because of the type of sextiles that are being expressed at this time. We also have a lot of last quarter squares this month because last quarter squares are these crisis in belief squares, and we're questioning our beliefs, we're questioning our perspective, we're questioning the rules. So that is happening as well at the same time. And we can see that with Venus making a last quarter square to Uranus. Venus is our values. It's what's important to us. It's who we love. It's what we love. It's our comfort and our ease. And Uranus is squaring it, so not a lot of comfort and ease as we start as we start the month. But Venus square Uranus frees us from the known, moves us into the unknown. And Uranus is an energy of freeing us, but it usually frees us up through chaos, and we get sort of like blown out of our shoes, so to speak, with Uranus. So there could be a relationship issue that comes up suddenly that you weren't expecting, that requires you to make some sort of a change in, not necessarily an action, but a change of the mind, a change of the mind. On the 4th, Mercury makes a sextile to Uranus. Mercury here is in Pisces. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus. And so whenever a planet makes a aspect to Jupiter, it's going to then make an aspect to Uranus, because Jupiter and Uranus are both in Taurus. And so Jupiter, the first aspect it's going to make, in this case, we're talking about Mercury, is it makes and the sextile, excuse me, the sextile of Mercury to Jupiter happens at the end of February. So now we move into May, and we have this sextile being made to Uranus. Jupiter expands our vision, and then Uranus sort of blows it out of the park. So we're really sort of being brought to the edge of our understanding, and then when Uranus makes the same aspect to the planet that Jupiter just previously made, that sort of blows us out into the stratosphere, and it expands our consciousness, it expands our awareness. Uranus is a sign associated with I mean, a planet associated with breaking out of the known and the norm, and so there's a lot of realizations. There's a lot of things that will come up and come out. Some truths will happen that will blow people out of the water, in the way they think about things, and in the way they feel about things, and in the way they value things. So that is something that is happening in March, for all of us. But again, this is in your experience of these things, it's going to be very personal, because in this case, when we talk about Mercury and Uranus, Mercury is in your sign. And then on the 8th, a couple of days later, Mercury makes a conjunction to Neptune. And this is, you are Pisces, Mercury's in Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces. Mercury is our logical mind, and it doesn't really like being in Pisces, because Neptune likes to see where the lines are, and Pisces is all about disillusion. So as Mercury moves through Pisces, it's actually the structure of your how you think goes through a process of disillusionment, and then rebirth from that. It's not just about letting it go and it goes away and it doesn't come back, but it sort of comes back with a new inspiration. And that new inspiration occurs at 27 degrees of Pisces. On the 9th, Mars makes a last quarter square to Uranus. Now, Venus and Mars are moving together. In fact, on the 22nd of February, they made a conjunction at 7 degrees of Aquarius. It was the start of a new synodic cycle. And so now we have Venus and Mars moving away from each other. Venus, of course, takes the lead. Venus takes the lead because it takes a year for Venus to go around the zodiac for the most part. And it takes Jupiter too. Not Jupiter, Saturn. Nope. Mars too. So Venus, runs out ahead, and then Mars follows. And so we'll see things happen with Venus, and then it'll followed by the same aspect with Mars. And at the beginning, they're close together. And as Venus moves further away from Mars, the space between what happens to Venus and what happens to Mars increases. And maybe we have a little bit more time to sort of get used to this new sort of energy with Venus before Mars comes in and takes the action. So Mars taking an action on rebellious energy, the last quarter square, the square that requires us, that creates crisis and requires us to change our mind about something. And Mars and Uranus together can be explosive. So you do need to be extraordinarily careful at this time. Mars is in your 12th house still, right? Is it? Yes. Yes. Square Uranus. Uranus and Taurus. Yeah, so it's still in your 12th house. It's still in Aquarius. And Mars in Aquarius is action for the people. So it's going to be chaotic, but it may not be. Its time has come. Let's put it that way. On the same day, the Sun makes a sextile to Uranus. This moves us in the direction of progressive change. And then Mercury moves into Aries. And Mercury much would rather be in Aries, I think, than it would be in Pisces, because Mercury in Aries is sort of a new idea, right? A new idea, and something new being given birth to, coming out of the very creative, imaginative waters of Pisces. And it also means that Mercury is going over a world point. And whenever a planet goes over a world point, it is very significant. And Mercury is about communication. It's also about transportation. So we could see some issues with that. It's moving into your second house. So your mind goes to your values, your mind goes to your money, your mind goes to it's survival energy, right? How do I survive and then ultimately thrive, which is a question that we ask ourselves in the second house. On week 2, this is a little bit, the week 1 is pretty active. I don't know if it's going to be as active as the beginning of February, which was like mind-blowing, but it's going to have its own blowing of the minds and hearts and all. But then we get a little bit of a respite on the second week where we have a new moon in Pisces. This is your first house. So it's a time when you can it's like a rebirth almost, with this energy. And the new moon is relatively close. It's widely conjunct Neptune, so we can utilize that Neptune for our imagination. And I say, imagine what you want to see and not what you don't, because you will create what you focus on. And better you create the good things in life, right? And then on the 11th, on the same day, sorry, I almost missed it. On the same day, Mercury makes a waxing sextile to Pluto. I know it says waning there, but it's waxing. It means it's growing. This is part of the synodic cycle between Pluto and Mercury that began at the Pluto-Mercury conjunction, which occurred, I think it was at the end of January, but it might have been the beginning of February. But January, February, that time frame. And now that those two planets have come to the 60-degree mark, and this is when the lines of communication open. And Pluto is the world soul, and Mercury is our mind. So the world soul is talking to us. Best we listen, best we get the information that we need so we can move forward for future plans. But future plans are kind of far away. They're still a year away. So, but this is a time to open the lines of communication with the soul. On the 11th, Venus ingresses into Pisces. Venus has been in Aquarius, which it's, non-committal. It's okay. Likes Aquarius. Aquarius is a friendly sign. It's technology. It's all those things. For you, it's your 12th house. So Venus does like moving through the 12th house, no matter what the sign, but it feels homey to Venus. But then it moves into Pisces, which is the sign that it's exalted in. And you very well may have a Venus in Pisces. So this could be your Venus return, Pisces. It's happening in your first house. This is a good time to, take care of yourself. Get a haircut, get a special, take care, like get a massage, take care of yourself, have a beauty treatment, do something that's going to make you feel more beautiful as it moves through that first house. And Venus loves being in Pisces. And when Venus is in Pisces, all the Pisces get a little more magical fairy dust to work with. So don't waste your fairy dust. On the third week, we have on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, for those who celebrate, we have the Sun conjunct Neptune at 28 degrees of Pisces. Now, the Sun likes clarity, and Neptune is the opposite of that. So this can be a time when it's difficult to see what is real. However, it is a powerful time that sort of shines light on your imaginings, your greatest dreams, but also your greatest fears. So again, focus on the dreams and not the fears. You don't want to get caught up in the fear of the situation because it creates more fear. And anyway, what can you really do? A lot of the things that we're fearful of are things that are out of our control anyway. And really, the only way we can access the energy to make the changes we want to see have to come from the inside out. And so focusing on what you want to see instead of what you don't want to see, or what's being shown to you. Now, it doesn't mean that you put your head in the sand and you don't care what's going on. You do care what's going on. You care that people are suffering unnecessarily. And you're like, why are we still doing this? And so you focus on the world you want to see, a world in which we stop doing this, and in a world in which, and then through that process, you're vibrating that energy. You're going to attract situations where you can actually help the situation. That's how it works. All right, so let's continue here. On the 19th, the sun ingresses into Aries. This is the start of the zodiacal year, right? Everything starts in Aries. And it is a world point. This is when when the light and the dark are equal. That happens when the sun ingresses into Aries or when the sun ingresses into Libra. So this is a balance between the light and the dark. And now the light is starting to rise in the northern hemisphere, and the light is starting to fade in the southern hemisphere. And we are moving here in the northern hemisphere towards the peak of summer, which occurs when the sun moves into Cancer. And that is the opposite if you happen to live down under. So this is an important time. Every time the sun moves into Aries, things happen. Things happen. And for you, it's in your second house. So things could happen. You could have some money come in, or you can finally see just how valuable you are. There's all kinds of ways that the sun going through that house. But the sun does illuminate any issues you might be having with resources. So you can do what you need to do for that, right? Hello, Charlie. Charlie's yelling at me. He may come up for this. On the 21st of March, the sun makes a makes a waxing sextile to Pluto. The Sun-Pluto conjunction occurred in January, and actually it occurred at 30 degrees of Capricorn, and then the sun moved into Aquarius, and then Pluto moved into Aquarius. So that was big. That was big in January. And then in February, we had the other personal planets move into Aquarius and have to go through the gauntlet of Pluto. So that was very intense because we were being asked to see things and take action and feel things and appreciate things and understand things that perhaps we hadn't understood up to that point. Just really what was perhaps at stake. And this on the 21st, this waxing sextile of the sun to Pluto opens the lines of communication, gets us talking to each other. There can be, the sun and Pluto are very powerful energies. So this can be where powerful people sit down and have a conversation about what needs to happen, what needs to take charge, and because the initial conjunction happened in Capricorn, it's going to seem like the old ways are being brought forth, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because age and experience does count. And I think we can certainly see that in my country here in the United States. While everybody's saying Joe Biden's too old, Joe Biden's too old, Joe Biden's too old, that could be true. He is pretty old, and this is a very stressful time. But in a way, Joe Biden has nothing to lose because he's completely committed, and his wisdom will hopefully help us move through this time. Um, everybody plays their part, and we can second guess everybody, but we're not in their shoes. So it's important that we have compassion for the leaders, and hopefully that can help us to move through this time with a little more grace and a lot more forgiveness. On the 20th, so we have that waning sextile to Pluto, and also on that same day we have Venus conjunct Saturn, which is pretty interesting and also pretty important as an energy. And it's let me read that degree because because it is Pisces and it is your first house. See if I have my Sabian symbol book here. I don't seem to have it. I believe the degree talks about focusing your will in a direction. that you truly believe in. So that's the energy of Venus and Saturn in your first house. On the 22nd, Mars, the planet of action, moves into your first house, moves into Pisces. So you have more energy with Mars and Pisces. And Mars and Pisces does work for you, Pisces. And it's really, come on up. And it's really about going with the flow with that energy. So you have to sort of go with where the tides are taking you. That's how fish go. They can go around, but ultimately it's where the water goes as to where the fish end up. And so it's an important time to go with the flow. On the fourth week, we have March 24th, we have Venus making a waning sextile to Jupiter. And then, of course, a couple of days later, on the 28th, we're going to have Venus making a waning sextile to Uranus. As I said, Venus, a planet, will come make an aspect to Jupiter and then have to make the same aspect to Uranus. So Venus and Jupiter sort of expands our compassion, their benefics, wanting to expand, to help those who need help. And in between Venus making that sextile to Jupiter, which expands our understanding as far as Saturn allows it, we have this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, which again shows us something about how we're relating to one another, because it's in Aries and Libra, and those are the two signs associated with, I and thou, getting along, just how are we relating? It's the axis of identity. It's the axis of relating. Okay. So we're getting an eyeful of that. And Libra does require us to perhaps renegotiate some contracts here, or at least be aware. And for you, Pisces, that Libra full moon is in the 8th house, and the 8th house is often a house where we can get enmeshed with other people, whether it's with their money or with their feelings or with their emotions. And so there can be somewhat of an obsessive energy in that house. It is the natural house for Scorpio. But this can be a time when you see what direction you need to move forward in. The sun on the north node as part of this full moon. It is an eclipse, so eclipse season is starting. You probably think, well, didn't we just have an eclipse like last week? Because that's what it felt like. But it's been so intense that we've gone from eclipse to eclipse. We had eclipse to eclipse, and in the middle of that, we had the nodes of the moon shift and Pluto square the nodes. And then just the end of 2023 was such an intensely, uh, talk about things just like being right here in your face. And that has continued. And it's not going to get out of our face until we figure out how to resolve the issues. And we can't ignore it anymore, right? So there's so there's that. And these eclipses will help to determine or certainly activate us to move forward in perhaps a more positive, hopefully a more positive way. But as I say, focus on the positive, because that's your power. And so you might as well utilize your power for the good. All right. So that's what I want to say about that. That was a lot. I'm going to stop the share here. So I've been doing readings with a deck, the Oracle deck, the Mystic Sisters, which is one of my favorite artists. This is her work. All the cards are her artwork. And so let's take a look and see what card comes up for Pisces. This is sort of an overarching energy. Single card pull, just to get a vibe. And then we'll do the, okay, let's see what we got here. Then we'll do the tarot reading. Just seeing which card makes my finger tingle. I just I do my fingers over the cards, and you can usually feel something in your hand when you get to the card. Like I feel it right there. All right, so this is the card. Charms of Ishtar. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? Charms of Ishtar. I haven't picked this one yet. It's a new deck. I haven't been able to I haven't seen all the cards yet come up. Okay, let's see what it says. Ishtar, I believe, was sort of the Venus of her day, of her area, just like Isis. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it. Kind of looks very Pisces. Those big fish eyes that she has. Let's see if I can get a nice focus on it. Here we go. Oh, there she is. Isn't she beautiful? Okay. The goddess Ishtar symbolizes love, both its power and its danger. You have been seduced by someone or something that gives you pleasure, but you find yourself distracted from the path of your original destination. Ishtar offers delight in worldly acquisitions. Only the flip side, she also has covetous, possessive, and defensive presence. When this card draws, you may be enjoying worldly offerings bordering on or crossing over into overindulgence. Be aware of the consequences of your actions. It says the opportunity is at hand to assess the motivations behind your passions. Is your passion a drive to achieve a worldly goal or just a distraction from reaching your true soul's calling? Well, there's going to be plenty of Pisces to figure that out this month. Okay, so now I'm going to do a reading with the tarot, the Wild Unknown. Wild Unknown. I don't know if I've ever used this deck for Pisces before, but I do love this deck. It's a beautiful deck by Kim Kranz. It's a pretty popular deck. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, let's see here. What does Pisces need to know? I think the back is like snakeskin. It's pretty cool. Information for Pisces for March 2024. Show me Pisces, March 2024. All right, we start with the the 10 of Wands. So burdens, you feeling maybe lost in the woods or obstructed in some way, maybe oppressed in some way. Let's see the challenge. Father of Wands. This is the King of Wands. This is the rising up of the Kundalini. This is shocking things. Um, this is an awakening. This is an awakening to your spirit and to take hold of that. Take hold, sort of the wand of power, based on your spiritual understanding and a spiritual awakening, really. And here you go. Right underneath it is the very same bundle of sticks, but rising from that is the butterfly or the moth, both symbols of resurrection, of metamorphosis, of change. And so this says that you've been in a situation that has been untenable and you felt trapped in it, and now it's time for you to wake up to the possibilities of a new life, of a new life, of a rising up. This is the sixth of wands, so it is a victory. It's a victory over inertia. It's a victory over burdens. You have risen up And it's taken really a lot of energy and a lot of focus and a lot of courage for you to get out of the situation that you were in. Let's see what's in the past. This is this, oh, I had it upside down. This is the Six of Cups. It's family, it's nostalgia. This could be the enmeshments or the things that sort of had you held back had something to do with your family and perhaps responsibilities you had around your families. And in the sky, we have this the Nine of Cups, your wishes come true, right? So what are you wishing for? What is it? What is your highest aspiration? That's what's in the sky. Your best dream. We have the Nine of Swords here in the immediate future. This is the of all the cards in this deck, this is probably the one I like the least. This is insanity. This is like, um, people are just losing their minds, and um, that is an environment. That's the situation. So you're coming up from this, and you're looking around, and this is what you're seeing. So you need to avoid anxiety at all costs. You really need to avoid the anxiety. You can't, as a Pisces, you're very sensitive to your environment. And you're very sensitive to the suffering of others. And it's very easy for you to get sucked into this kind of energy because of that. So you definitely want to be protective of the new sort of the new spirit that's risen up from where you were to now where you are. How it's seen from the outside. Abuses of power. See abuses of power. Cutting away. In your domestic situation, we have some illusion and delusion. So we have madness and illusion and delusion. Okay, let's see what else. Your hopes and fears, heartbreak. You fear loss. It's maybe a loss around relationship. And the outcome is the hermit. Is the hermit. This might say to me that this month you need to hermit away a bit. And but the thing that you want to show people don't have to see you, but they do want to see your light, and they do need to see your light. So you need to share your wisdom. And maybe part of that wisdom is how you were able to get out of this, right? Get out of this, through this awakening, and your story of how you've risen up to that may be the what you share with others. Let's see what's underneath this. Okay, so we have the Fool, which is a whole new path. That's very good. And the Star, which is following your guiding star. This is an Aquarius card. Okay. And this is a Uranus card. This is an Aquarius card. And then we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is Taurus, and Taurus is in, Uranus is in Taurus, and that lightning flash is also part of the Uranian Taurus energy here. And the Hierophant holds the key to wisdom, the key to wisdom. And so this is a month where you really, really need to put out your best light because I don't feel like this is necessarily you, but this is the world that you live in. And the world that you live in needs your wisdom so that we can start anew and structure in a new way, in a more equal, egalitarian way. Okay. Oh, that's all. No big deal. Ah, oh, Jesus. All right, guys. Well, that's what the cards say. Stop distracting yourself with minutiae things you don't need to be doing and focus on why you're here. You're here to share your light. So share your light, guys. Share your light. Show show what you understand, not just about yourself, but your journey, and let other people find a home in that. All right. Have yourself a great month. It looks like it's going to be another very interesting month for all of us. If you would like a reading with me, I do personal readings. I'll never reach out to you and say, "Oh, let me offer you a personal reading." Now that's never really happened, but I know a lot of readers talk about that, and the more popular you get, the better chances that will happen. So I will not reach out to you and offer you a reading. But if you would like a reading, you can reach out to me on my website, theseedsoftransformation.com. There'll be links below. I do a combination astrology, numerology, and Kabbalah reading. It's very different than probably any other reading you've had. People really enjoy them. They're very transformational. That's how I got into this. I had one of those readings, and the woman who read me became my teacher and helped me understand myself in a way that was deeper and more profound, and definitely put me on my path. And so that's available, links below. I also have a Patreon channel if you want to support me. The more patrons I get, the more work I can do for you. I just have to it's the advertising on YouTube doesn't really pay that well. And so I would do more, except that you have to put your time where it's best spent when it comes to and I want to share my light. I have a Pisces moon, so this reading is for me. Uh along with the reading for Leo and yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're living in interesting times. Anyway, and give me a thumbs up if for nothing else. It helps get me out there and more people to see, and share if you know somebody who needs to hear the message. So have a great month, and I'll see you again in April, which actually is going to be a whiz bang month because we start with a Mercury retrograde and we have an eclipse, and it goes through America, and it's going to be big. So more big things to come. But until then, I'll see you soon. Check me out in the mornings when I walk through the garden, even though right now it's mostly snow sticks and sticks. Trees. Um, and find out what the astrological weather is for the day. Yeah, that's a good way to start the day. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.